Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper. And guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. Tonight, I've got Brother Akeen joining me, a solemn prophet, and we're going to be talking about end-time finance, end-time preparedness, what we need to do to be getting that war chest together for what's coming, because we all need to have financial stability to take care of the needs of our family, especially in this hour that's ahead. Just want to apologize real quickly to everyone for taking a month off. I just wanted to clear my head and take some time with my family after my dad's passing. It was just really imperative to me to just take some time off and just focus on what really matters, just family and health and going to work each day and coming home. And so we're going to get back on that horse and ride now on here on the platform. And I think this is a most important topic for the time. And just two quick notes before I bring Brother Akeen on and turn the reins over to him to share this information with you guys, is that first and foremost is to just set the paradigm that we're in. A guy, if you didn't see it the other day, shared that he had purchased some stuff from his Walmart app in 2022, and it was like $140-something worth of stuff. And now in 2024, he had shared that he took the stuff that was in his app, moved it into his cart to purchase again, and it was like $400 and I want to say like $70-something. And I've got it on my phone actually, so later in the stream I can we can take a break for just a split second. I can screen share that and show that to everybody off that thing that the guy showed on TikTok. And they're saying, you know, you can replicate this too, just to see how much inflation has been affecting everything. The other thing too is, you know, it's been pointed out that, you know, that it's like, it's not us that's going to deliver ourselves. You know, it's the Most High Yah that's going to do it when the time comes. And that's absolutely true. But, you know, the last time I checked, Noah picked up a hammer and nails and built an ark. And Joseph filled up granaries in Egypt and fed the nations around them and saved all of Egypt and the house of Israel. So, like, you know, this faith coupled with works thing is a serious thing in this time that we all need to get into mindset that, you know, when the kingdom of heaven starts printing paychecks to me and they come in the mailbox out here and I don't have to actually go work, you know, and do what a man's supposed to do to provide for his family. You know, when the easy button, I don't know where that easy button is. I'm looking for it right now. But when that does show up and I can just press the easy button, then we'll do that. But in the meantime, you know, I'm going to work 2 jobs and do a side hustle and print crypto and do everything else in the world to keep my families fed and, you know, do what a man's supposed to do. So with that said, the last thing is that if you guys have not made sure to do this, please do so. Go over to Odyssey and make sure that you have an account over at Odyssey, because there's a video I'm going to make later this week, if not in the next day or two, is that if you didn't see it, the Supreme Court pretty much told the Biden administration that it's open season, that if they feel like something is disinformation on social media now, you can pretty much snuff them out. So there's going to be a lot of that trickle down into the realm of social media very soon. And so the likes of people that are out there telling the truth will probably be disenfranchised. So just a heads up on that. I'll be doing a video about that later this week or as soon as possible. Last thing is, if you haven't checked out some of the streams in the past, myself, Brother Akeen, Pastor Jansen, Brother Troy, Brother Joel. Man, Akeen's going to have to help me in a second. I've left somebody out of that mix. Anyway, all of us brothers got on there, done that. It was a great stream. I think one of the greatest things we've all ever collaborated on. It's helped a lot of people. You can check that out on a multitude of everybody's channels. Then talked about the eclipses. I have been watching the earthquake watch ever since the eclipse took place. There has been massive earthquake activity. What's really disturbing to me is on the earthquake government information that I've gave you guys in the past, where you can go and keep up with that. Things are not being reported, but yet there's earthquakes being reported by people and the news, and it's not being reported by the government. And so we are approaching about that same span that when the eclipses happened in the 1800s, that when the New Madrid did have a massive flare up, that we're almost in that same time frame window. It is very well closed in. So very interesting to see what will come in the future here in America with all the earthquakes that's popping off everywhere. Just be mindful of that. And, it's crazy. People were mocking that, saying that, well, look at there. Everybody's a false prophet because it didn't happen that day. I mean, like, guys, things get sent as a warning and then judgment happens. Okay. So keep that in mind. Then talked about we can know the season, the end of the age before the return of Messiah. And we were definitely seeing these things come to pass. I talked in another stream about should believers be preppers. And right before I took a break, I talked about what happens when we die. And I believe I did that stream the day of or right after my dad passed away. And I hope that's a peace and a comfort to people that's losing loved ones, because I know a lot's going on in this time frame. And the stats just come out the other day that the people that took the snake bite, the miscarriages and child mortality rates out of sight now. There's a lot of stuff coming out about that too. So I know a lot of people suffering loss in multiple different venues in their life right now. So I hope that'll be of a help. But for tonight, we're going to be talking about how to fund your Exodus and end time finance. And I have spoke enough. I'm going to step aside here. Brother, it's great to have you on tonight.
Hey, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be on this platform with you, my brother.
I tell you what, you and Brother Joel, I tell people, Italians all the time, but you and Brother Joel, Tony and Brother Russell and a handful of others are the only people it's like blood family to me that ain't blood family. Like, I mean, I'll give you a kidney if I have to. You know what I'm saying? But it's always an honor to have you with me. So, yeah. I'm seeing the comments popping off, guys. It's nuts seeing some of the stuff that's going on right now. But with that said, my man, break it down for us, a synopsis of what we're looking like tonight and where we're going to go with it.
Pretty much, like I was saying in the video that I made, kind of promoting this event. I started a coalition. Most I put it on my heart to gather the people, get us prepared for what's coming. Like Brother Lucas said, man, faith without works is dead. You have to have faith, but you have to have works. I like how you said that that heaven ain't gonna come down and print a check, so you press the easy button, right? So when we know this and understand this, we got to be prepared. We have to do what we need to do, because what's written in the scriptures is written. We know that it's gonna come to pass. So today we're gonna talk about a couple of different strategies that we can implement to prepare for ourselves. A lot of us are preppers. A lot of us have land, or working to get land, or we're trying to solidify the homes that we already have, whether it means building a bunker, all types of things, acquiring food, equipment, if we got land, we're talking about livestock, farming equipment. A lot of these things cost money, right? The price tag. He just mentioned the brother went in, it was $100 and something, and then he goes back a year later and it's almost $500, right? Just inflation alone, supposedly about 3%, but now it's hitting in a 5 to 6% range, which is crazy. So we're gonna get into it. Obviously all of this is gonna be coming from a biblically based perspective, because we're preparing for what we need to do. But yeah, I'm just here to kind of give you guys some information, serve you guys, and if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, you can reach out to me anytime.
Yeah, brother, I'm going to try to find, I'm looking right now. I already forgot about it as soon as I mentioned it. I'm trying to find that picture right now. So I'll text it to you so you can share it during your, your screen sharing later. Or I can pull it up a thumbnail on the side too, but I'll find that thing here in a minute and I'll wrangle that up, because that was absolutely nuts.
When you find it, just shoot it to me in an email. That way I can download it on my computer and then pull it up on the screen.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. I will do.
And that was Brother Ari, the other brother that was on the
yeah,
the scriptural calendar summit with us. Yeah.
Hey, actually, I got it right here. Can you see that right there? In 2022, he paid $126. In 2024, he paid $414. $414.
That's almost 4x. That's almost 4 times.
Man,
that's almost 4 times the amount. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, inflation ain't that bad, right?
Right. And then they tell us to put our money in banks.
Oh man, hey, look here, we got Founded Earth brothers in the house. Hey, great to see you, brother. Man, we got a good group in the building today.
Hey, man, I see you guys' posts all the time. I share your posts, man. It's glad to have you on here. Man, it's like we got some celebrities in the group almost. That's how I feel. But without further ado,
one of my little ones come to tell me good night there.
Oh, it's all good. All good.
All right.
So I'm gonna share my screen, brother.
All right,
you go right into it. Just let me know whenever it is pulled up.
All right, it should be where you can you click through it now?
I have it pulled up on my end. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, cool. All right, so not to get, because I'm a speed through a lot of this information to get to like the nitty gritty for the most part. But just to briefly go over, who we are and what we do. My team is Freedom United. You can kind of see it on the shirt here. But we are a part of the Milliard Group, and the overarching company head is Akeen. A lot of y'all probably haven't heard of them. It's okay. They're headquartered in the Netherlands. Been in business about 150 years. Global Fortune 500 company. But what they ended up doing was dramatically impacting the financial industry, because they ended up addressing some concerns that we have there, right? A lot of people think the financial industry is just peaches and cream. It's actually fairly segregated, and it has its flaws, right? So you have industry bias, you have barrier to entry, you got a lack of financial education. And so, if you're an individual trying to find something to put your money in to allow your money to grow, right? And that's what a lot of us are trying to do when we're trying to go off grid, prep, and do things of that nature, right? You go to a bank to see what they have available to you, and they got a financial professional that's going to tell you that that's the best place to put your money. Same thing with, dealing with securities, right? You're talking about your stocks, your crypto, different mutual funds, different brokerage firms. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to say that's the best place. Same thing with insurance, right? So how do you as the individual know, right, what's the best for you? Because everybody's telling you the same thing, right? So what Akeen ended up doing was purchasing Transamerica, which is a securities brokerage, and World Financial Group, which is a insurance brokerage. Now, the good thing about it is what we do here at the Milliard Group is we have access to both Transamerica and WFG without having to work directly for them. So we get all of the benefits without having to get locked down to one specific company, right? Now, on the left-hand side here, just a few of the names that we work with, but we have over 192 different companies that we partner with on our platform. They're all A and A plus rated. If they drop below that rating, we kick them off our platform, right? A lot of us here, we purchase a lot of our goods from Amazon. We're very similar to Amazon in the financial industry, to where when you purchase from Amazon, 9 times out of 10, you're not buying it from Amazon directly. You're buying it from a third-party merchant or seller that's using Amazon's platform. Same thing here, right? So Amazon doesn't make any money from any type of direct business. Most of the time, direct business from the consumers. And it's the same thing here. When we work with our clients, because we are a full-fledged, fully independent financial firm, non-captive, so we don't work for one specific company. We have our clients' best interests at heart, and we don't charge our clients for any of our services, okay? And that's one of the things that I really love about what we do here, because I love to help people, but it's hard to say, oh yeah, let me help you, but then let me charge you at the same time, right? So it's kind of counterproductive. But just like Amazon, they don't really make money off of the individuals. They charge the third-party sellers. We don't make any money off of our clients. However, we do receive payment or commission from the companies that we partner with. So let's just say somebody's looking for car insurance and they're paying $300 a month, and we go through one of our partners, and we can find same amount of coverage, same deductible, same quality of service as their current insurance holder, and we can get it down to $250, right? So that's $50 a month, $600 a year. Why wouldn't the person want to switch over, right? And so the company that we partner with receives a new customer. The client is happy because they're saving $600 a year, about $50 a month. And then the company, as a thank you, they pay us a finder's fee, basically, right? A commission, just to say thank you. So everybody wins in that situation, right? This right here is very important, especially when we're talking about the state that we're in the U.S., but more so, because a lot of us, again, are preppers. I have my own organization where we're coming together to do some amazing things, but you can't do it if you are limited. And a lot of us are limited at no fault to our own, right? We were raised with a lack of information. We didn't know what to do. A lot of us, I like to say, we start at zero. And as you go through life, you're learning by trial and error, all of the different things that you should have already known or someone should have taught you, but now you got to figure it out. And so you start off at zero, and then by the time you're ready at retirement age, you're probably at a 40 or a 50. But then the cycle continues, because when we have our kids, a lot of the times we're not instilling that information in them. So they start at zero again, and it just resets, right? On family A, right, on the left-hand side, you guys can kind of look and see the different characteristics of each side. But on family B side, yeah, they probably started at zero generations ago and ended up at 50 or 60, but they passed that information down. So the next generation started at 20 or 30 or 40, and you get where I'm going here, right? But the no family left behind isn't just a catchy slogan, right? We help all types of people. Our executive vice chairman is a millionaire, and his highest earning client is a billionaire. And his lowest earning client is a single mom with 3 kids, living paycheck to paycheck, making ends meet on government assistance, living in Section 8 housing, right? And she absolutely loves him. He absolutely loves her. They communicate regularly, and he's helped her, set a plan, right? Because that's what we do here. We build financial plans. We ask our clients, hey, what are your goals? How old do you want to be when you retire? What do you want to specifically accomplish? What type of legacy do you want to leave the next generation? And we ask all of these questions, and we build them a financial plan to help them get to wherever they want to go, essentially. And so you see the difference, right? Family A says 95% of middle America. Family B says 5%. I'll give you a stat that's even worse than that. 99% of the U.S. population shares 1% of the wealth. And 1% of the U.S. population shares the other 99%. So if that's not a problem for you, just to understand that there's a huge wealth disparity and a wage gap, right, that's happening. And so I'm trying to get that wage gap closer to 50-50, right? But I need other individuals to help me with that. But as a part of that, I want to give this information to all of the people who come from where I come from, who have some of the similar goals that I have, or us as an organization. And so we're trying to actually move from that family A side to the family B side, right? We're trying to instill this, Wall Street level education and bring it down to Main Street so everybody can benefit from it, right? If I don't do anything else tonight, I want every one of you to have a little bit more information about finances than you did when you came on this live stream, right? And so I'm here to answer any questions. But to move on,
hey brother, just if I could just say one thing on that slide you just had right there. For everybody that hasn't looked lately, they had a map that showed the United States, and it showed the wage gap that you needed to have to even have a basic quality of life.
Yep.
And like, it was in some states, it's into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like in California, I think you had to make $120,000 just to have a basic quality of life. Not like you're going to go out all the time and have a good time and live lavish. Like, that is survival. Bro, I don't even make $120K.
Yep.
And like in the state of Tennessee, it was like $84,000, I believe, was required. And I mean, like, if I just work my base job, I wouldn't even meet that. So, I mean, like what you were saying right there, people really, I don't think, take into clarity just how deep that goes, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, where it says 250K or more under family B, that's just to be able to sit down and get into the same room as one of the financial advisors or financial professionals that could potentially help you with whatever you're trying to get. But you need to make that just to get into the door. And if you don't make that, they'll still sit down with you, but they're going to charge you anywhere from $300 to $3,000 an hour for their information. Right. And so, obviously in the grand scheme of things, once you see the numbers crunched, yeah, it's worth it. But who has $300 to $3,000 to pay somebody per hour to get information?
Right.
I know I don't.
No, not me.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's that barrier to entry. It's a barrier. And a lot of people who really could benefit from the information can't get it because either they're too busy working, right? And by the time they finish, they don't have the resources to do all the research, or they're discouraged. They don't think that the information is they don't even think that the information exists because they feel like their current situation is what it's always been and how it's always going to be. And that's not the case. So not only are we educating people, we bringing them hope. We're allowing people to dream again. Because a lot of times our dreams die in our 20s, man. They just bury us when we pass away. But in terms of dreaming, we were dead a long time ago.
Yep.
But in regards to financial education, we like to educate our clients as well and briefly go over the rule of 72. I don't know if everybody's heard of it before, but pretty much it's a way to utilize compound interest in order to understand how long it'll take your investment to double based on the interest rate that you're getting. Okay. So the rule of 72 is simple. You take the interest rate that you're getting, you divide it by 72, and the answer is how long it'll take in years approximately for your money to double. So look on the left-hand side, you got the 29-year-old, he's putting $10,000 in it. He's getting 1% back in interest. Now, I said earlier, they tell us to put our money in banks. Well, if you put your money in the savings account, you're probably not going to get that 1%, right? You're going to get 0.25, 0.3. You're not really clearing a 1% unless you have some type of like high yield savings account. But at 1%, just to make the numbers nice and round, 1 divided by 72 is 72. So it'll take him 72 years for that money to double. And I know we would love to live like Abraham in the scriptures, right? And live over 100 years old. But according to the statistics of life expectancy of a male in this country, he wouldn't have made it. He wouldn't make it. He wouldn't have made it. So he wouldn't even see that $20,000. Now, as you increase that interest rate to 4% and 6%, as you can see in the middle of the screen, you can see how much more that money doubles, how much more it accumulates, and how much faster it accumulates. Now, looking at that 10% on the far right-hand side, that same $10,000 without any additional contributions would be approximately $320,000 by retirement. Okay, and to crunch a little bit more numbers, if you bump that 10% to 12%, instead of your money doubling every 7 years, it'll double every 6 years. And at 65, you'd have about $640,000 as opposed to that 320. So I highly recommend always paying attention to interest rates, whether they're working for you in the form of investments or whether they're working against you in the form of, different credits and credit cards and loans, right? I know sometimes you're like, oh, well, this is the car that I want, but they're giving you a higher interest rate. And you're like, well, it's probably not that big a deal. It's only adding about $15 a month in my car note. But in the grand scheme, you're paying tons more in the long run. Now, this is how money grows. Every type of strategy you've ever done in your life is probably fallen into one of these three categories. You have fixed, variable, and index. Fixed is like the bank's savings accounts, checking accounts, certificates of deposit. For those of you guys who dealt with some of those, you see the map. You see the graph, right? It's a slight increase and then it flattens out. It actually should decrease over time because while your money is sitting in these types of accounts, most times it's not even outpacing inflation, right? You saw the $126 go to $414 in just a span of 1 year. inflation is supposed to be about 3% over the last 30 years. It's about 5 to 6%. So if you're not at least getting back 5 to 6%, your money is just losing value every day, every single day. But these types of strategies are popular because that's what they told us to do, right? And our money is safe in these types of strategies because it's insured up to $250,000 by FDIC, right? So, and it's liquid. So if we have to pay bills, we go straight to the app, we swipe a card, or we can go to the branch and get the money out. But the return of our investment is very low. ROI is low. Variable strategies now. Now you're in the realm of stock markets, crypto markets. You're in the realm of 401ks, IRAs, these things of these natures, right? You're now subject to what we call market volatility, and all that means is what goes up must come down. Things are always moving and they're never staying the same. So in these types of strategies, you can earn a lot, you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money, right? In 2008, when the markets crashed, on average, 50 to 60% of all retirement accounts lost about 50 to 60% of their value. So imagine working 30, 35 years, you didn't, put sweat, blood, and tears into into your career, not the company, but just your career. And you expect, having $700,000-800,000 when you retire to live off of. And then you go and you check your account and it's in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. That's not enough to live off of in retirement, right? So it's important to be diverse in where you put in your investments, but for your retirement, your entire pension, to have all your eggs in one basket that's not providing you the stability that you should probably have, it's risky. It's risky, but sometimes it pays off. And then index is a unique strategy because it utilizes what we call market mirroring. So instead of your investment being in the market directly, it's in a separate account, and that account is copying what the market does. So when the market goes up, it goes up. But when the market goes down, right, whatever goes up must come down, it remains the same. Now, you don't make anything in a down year, but you don't lose anything in a down year either. So whatever gains that you received the previous year, those are locked in until the market rebounds and goes back up. And you can see the grayed out version of the variable strategy. You can see over time, the index strategy outperforms the variable strategy a lot of the time. And then if you're going to talk about how money grows, you got to talk about taxes. A lot of times people are making good money, but when you consider the tax hit that they're getting, it cuts it off, right? You got taxable, tax deferred, tax advantage. Basically, taxable is your investments are being taxed multiple times. You're already getting tax from your employer. That's why you can file your income taxes at the end of the year, right? So you're getting hit twice, or at least twice in these types of strategies. Tax deferred, now you're talking about, IRAs, 401ks, where the Uncle Sam doesn't bother you up front. They let it grow over time, and then they tax it when you take your distributions or when you withdraw your money out, right? Now, I don't know about y'all, but if you have the choice to have your money taxed on the front end when it's a lower amount, or on the back end when it's a higher amount, which one would you prefer, right? And we don't know what the tax rate is going to be in 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? It could be as high as 60, 70%. We don't know, right? So it's important to keep that in mind when we're talking about, your money being taxed on the higher amount later on.
Man, just imagine what the petrodollar will do too. With the BRICS thing the other day and with Saudi Arabia, bro, when you were saying the taxes, can you imagine how high that's going to jump if the dollar loses value over this in the long term within the next 12 months?
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of pain and anguish in the financial industry. And then you have tax advantage. Now, there's several ways to do, or there's several things that falls into this category. Like if you have a traditional 401k and you switch it to Roth, or an IRA and you switch it to Roth, now you're talking about your money being taxed on the front end when it's a lower amount, as opposed to being taxed on a high end when it's a higher amount. But also, tax advantage is any type of cash accumulation account that is within an insurance policy, because it's going off of the Internal Revenue Code 7702, which is the holy grail of tax codes, and it states that any cash accumulation account that's within insurance is 100% tax free, and that's federally mandated. So it's a protected asset class. So whether you're talking about Roth or whether you're talking about tapping into that tax code, it's important to check that out. And this is what's not talked about. You hear about these, and a lot of people don't even understand that they're in this, because this actually, pisses me off, to be honest, because you have the variable strategy, which I mentioned, which is in the market, and you're at risk of market volatility. But then that also falls into the tax deferred category. So your money is being taxed on a higher end, but that is the standard. Everybody's grandfathered into that type of strategy if you work in corporate. When you work for a company and they set you up with a retirement account, a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, all of those fall into that same category, because Uncle Sam makes their money off of the taxes. But there's ways to switch it. There's ways to educate ourselves and upgrade. Now, this right here is the 6 ways that we help each of our clients, right? Cash flow, emergency fund, debt management, property protection, building wealth, and preserving wealth. Cash flow is simple. It's 1 or 2 ways. We're going to sit down. We're going to crunch the numbers. We're going to look at your finances, and we're going to be able to see if you either need to bring in more money to help you eliminate your debt and fund your retirement, or if you need to cut back, right? Because it's not all about how much you can make. Sometimes it's about how much you can save. If you make $200K a year, but your lifestyle is $190,000, you're not really bringing in a lot, right? If you make $80K a year, but your lifestyle is $30,000, then you have a lot more to work with, right? It's just that simple. Emergency fund is just a rainy day fund. We recommend everybody have 3 to 6 months. Debt management, we help our clients with debt management, whether it means a debt snowball strategy, different credit card strategies that you can do to lower those balances and eliminate those balances. Consolidation, if that calls for it. Everybody's situation is different, but we help them all ways. And that also helps restore and rebuild their credit. Proper protection, people think of life insurance at this step. We call life insurance death insurance here, because your family only gets a payout if you die, right? But there's a big gap that is not being addressed a lot of places. So if you have somebody and they are fully covered with, they got the grade A medical insurance, right? And then now you have, they're set up with grade A life insurance. So if they get sick, doctor bills are taken care of. If they pass away, their family's taken care of. But a lot of people fall into that gray area in the middle, to where if something happens to them medically, heart attack, stroke, cancer, anything that'll take them out of work for anywhere from 4 to 6 months, right? There's no income now because they're not working. So yeah, their doctor bills are being covered. And that's only going to be so long, because if they don't have any income and they don't have a savings to continue paying those insurance premiums, that's going to lapse. And then they're going to have to pay doctor bills. You know how many people are losing their homes, filing bankruptcy, and just accumulating tons of debt because they got sick and they couldn't work? So we partner with companies that have access to what we call living benefits, to where you can take a portion of the life insurance death benefit, which we call the face amount. You can take a portion of that and offset the lack of income for that time period. And based on whatever you have going on medically, will accumulate to a specific dollar amount that you can use as income. So now you're covered on all fronts, right? Not just 2. Building wealth is everybody's favorite, right? Brother Lucas.
Yes, sir, brother.
Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna use you as a quick guinea pig. I apologize.
It's all right. I got you back.
So if you have an account that has $100,000 in it, and that $100,000 is earning you interest, and let's just say you got a make a huge off-grid type of purchase, right? Let's just say it's $50,000. So you got 100,000. You take out 50,000. How much are you left with that's still earning you interest in that account?
50,000.
50,000, right? That's the correct answer in most places. But what would you say if I told you we have, a couple different strategies? But what would you say if we had a strategy where you take that $50,000 out, you take care of whatever off grid you need to do, and you're still earning interest on that full $100,000 as if you never touched it at all?
That sounds like a good deal right there.
And it's 100% tax free.
Even better.
So imagine, you have the ability to, buy equipment, solar, power generators, livestock, you name it, seeds for the crops that you're going to plant, anything, vehicles, whatever the case may be, to know that you have the ability to take care of those things, and it's not taking away from the interest that you're earning, right? Your cash accumulation is still going up while you're taking care of the stuff that you need.
Now that's due to the fact that like it's going to get took out on the back end though up on death, correct?
Now, in that case, it just depends. It depends on how soon you're taking it out, right? Because it accumulates over time, and the accumulation could potentially catch up. Just depends on how much you're tapping into that account.
I got
but
you.
If there is still a balance. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. The reason, and I don't know why, if I interrupt you now, bro, I'm not trying to cut you off. There is a weird lag on the internet tonight. And I had to reset the router lately, so I'm hoping that ain't had something to do with it. But, when I had New York Life before I had swapped my life insurance policy over years ago, I took it out, gosh, when Jonathan was like maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months old. I mean, I didn't hesitate the minute the little guy got here. I got one for him. And, they told me that after X amount of time that, should I fall ill or, they come to me and say, hey, look, you're going to die of like heart disease in the next 6 months or cancer or whatever, they'll let you take a big chunk of money out at that point too, because it's pretty much, going to be paid out regardless. And I remember some things like that, and that was almost 20 years ago. But what you're describing right now is even better than what was explained to me on that other insurance years ago.
Right, exactly. The companies that we partner with, the types of services and products that we have access to is grade A, and invest in the industry. But like to answer your question, so if there is still a so-called balance left, it'll get taken care of out of the death benefit. So let's just say at the end of it, when it's all said and done, let's just say you're sitting at $1 million, right? And over that time period, you've taken out $600K, but it's grown back and caught back up to, let's just say, $800K. There's a $200,000 balance left, and let's just say the death benefit is $1 million. So the $1 million will pay the $200,000 back, and then $800,000 will get paid out to your family. While during that over those years, you still took out $600,000 to take care of whatever you needed to take care of.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And then the last number 6 is preserving wealth, and that one is more so the estate planning. And all I'm gonna say here is a lot of times when people think about getting their affairs in order, they think about a will. Well, a will can be contested. A will doesn't bypass probate court. Okay, we highly recommend establishing a trust, because a will, it's okay. It's just going to let them know where you want your estate to go in the case that you pass. I have a colleague that I work with whose father had a will, right? And he's now the last sole living heir to the estate. And his father's estate, which has been in probate court for 25 years now, it still hasn't settled and hasn't come to a resolution. So I urge people to consider at least at some point getting a trust. But if you're thinking that things are gonna get bad a lot sooner than later, then you can put in other measures, and there's other ways to go too.
Yeah, just a quick note to everybody on what the brother's saying right now is I can speak to this firsthand from Dad passing is that like me and Dad and Jonathan had a plan in place for a long time. And so when Dad passed, like Mom had the land deeded off, pretty much the majority of the farm. Me and Dad was giving it to John so that he could carry on, the cattle business. And then the other part was going to be to me in the home and stuff. And we had it set so that the deed is so that it's like it's still in Mom's name, but our name is on the deed too, so that at her passing, then there is no probate. It immediately just slides right on over to us. And you can avoid a lot of taxation and probate and all this crazy stuff. But guys, if you don't put things in trust, if you don't do the footwork ahead of time, you can end up dealing with a lot more drama on the back end than you would on the front end.
Yep. When with Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, when he passed away, he was worth $10 million. Now he knew he was sick. It wasn't public, but he knew he was sick for a while. And I believe he had a will in place. I can't speak to that specifically. But after his estate went to probate, you're talking executor fees, court fees, lawyer fees, everything, right? His family was left with $1 million. This man lost 90% of his estate.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
And I don't want to see that happen to any of you guys. So, I know trust can be expensive and depending on the situation. So I understand the hesitancy, but it's important. It's important. I'd rather, pay a little bit up front to make sure we're good to go. So if anything happens, my estate is squared away as opposed to losing way more than the trust was going to cost.
Absolutely. That's 100 right there.
So I want to talk about a financial strategy, which is a universal bank, similar to what we just said in regards to the account that I mentioned. And so we just covered this information, okay? We just covered this information. But now we're going to be dealing with something that is tax advantage and indexed, okay? Because we've been told to put our money in banks, and we're getting that 0 to 1% return on our money. So the bank has our money in it, okay? And then when we need money, we got to go back to the bank. And guess what? They hitting us with 8 to 24% on the loan, on our money. Understand this is our money that we're putting in the bank, okay? Now, the reason why they can do this is because they practice fractional reserve lending. So for every $10 that they have, they only need to keep $1 on hand. That's why when you see people start panicking in certain situations and everybody's like cramming the banks and trying to withdraw all their money, the bank shut down and they tell you that they don't have the money on hand. And you're like, you're a bank, you're supposed to have it. This is why. They're not required to have all of the money on hand. They invest everything else, which is our money again, right? And it's insured. That's where you get the FDIC. And the I in FDIC, believe it or not, is life insurance. Life insurance. So you're probably wondering, why would a bank need life insurance? Well, they put their money in insurance and they're getting 6 to 12% return tax-free. BOLI stands for bank-owned life insurance, right? So they're taking our money that we put into the bank, even though they're only giving us 0 to 1% and charging us 8 to 24%, they're making 6 to 12. And I can tell you right now, with the way the indexes are operating and performing, it's actually closer to 13 to 17% right now. 13 to 17%. This is a book by Jake Thompson. It was the #1 bestseller. It's just going into understanding bank-owned life insurance, and companies and corporations are doing the same thing. Corporate-owned life insurance. Okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of the companies on the right-hand side looks familiar to you all. But let's take a look at the banks on the top left-hand corner. You got Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Chase Bank, and US Bank. These are billions of dollars, 19, 17, 10, and 5. Billions of dollars in life insurance. You can see General Electric, Disney, Crown Holdings, Amway, AT&T, the list goes on and on. This is not something new, but what it is new to a lot of us because it's a club and we ain't in it. So we're able to now educate our clients and show them what they've been missing out on, essentially, and allowing them to take hold of their own financial destiny. Okay, so what we do is we tell our clients, hey, you can cut the bank out completely. Just get rid of the middleman. And instead of worrying about a bank, you put your money in insurance. You get that 6 to 12, which is like 13 to 17% right now. Tax-free. You become your own bank. And if you need money, you take a participating loan. And like I explained with Brother Lucas here, it does not remove the funds from the account's performance. You're still going to be earning all the interest on the total amount accumulated, even though you have a lesser amount in the account. Look into the red circle. This is an executive bonus plan for General Electric back in 2016. These are 5 executives. Okay. Now, if you look where it says retirement savings plan, you see how everybody is putting the same amount, $9,275. That's because that's the maximum amount that company is going to match them in their retirement accounts. So they're not going to put a penny more than what's being matched. And then everything else they're putting in life insurance premium. $375,000, $81,000, $318,000, $239,000, $123,000. They understand this. They understand it's a club. You ain't in it. Now, 80% of people use banks because it's liquid, it's FDIC insured, but it's a low rate of return. And most of the time, it's not outpacing inflation unless you have some type of high yield savings account. And the highest yielding savings account that I've been able to find recently is about 5.7%. So if you're looking at the 3% inflation average, you're clearing 2.7. But like I said, right now it's as high as 5 to 6%. So you're either breaking even or you're losing money still on a daily basis. 15% of people use securities. Securities is stock market, crypto, 401k, IRAs, those things, right? Higher return potential, tax benefits, but they're risky. You are subject to market volatility, and there's age restrictions. Anybody on here got a 401k? Anybody know that if they try to take money out of their 401k before they're 59 and a half, they're going to get hit with a penalty plus taxes?
Facts.
Did you know that if you try to keep your money in there past the age of 70, you're going to get hit with a penalty? So it's like, all right, well, if I take it out early or if I keep it in too long, what's the point of having it in there? 5% of people are in on the secret, utilizing insurance. It's liquid, it's tax-free, it's a protected asset class, and you can leave a legacy for your kids, the next generation, the grandkids, whoever you want. Now, a lot of people think of, life insurance that has some type of cash accumulation association to it is whole life. Low rate of return on whole life, and it's very expensive. The reason why whole life is expensive because your health is a factor, but your age is a factor. So let's just say you're super healthy and you are super young. Technically, your insurance is supposed to be cheaper. But with whole life, what they do is they give you an average age. So if you're 21 and let's just say your life expectancy is 90, they're going to take the middle of the average of the two, which let's just say it's like 49. So now you're going to pay insurance as a 49-year-old as opposed to a 21-year-old. That's why whole life a lot of times is pretty expensive. But what happened is all of these three came together. And remember that IRC, Internal Revenue Code 7702 I talked about? There is a hybrid model that is utilizing all of the positives of this and none of the negatives. to where you are paying for annually renewable term insurance, which is cheap, low cost insurance. That gives you access to that tax code to make it tax free. So you make your monthly contributions. A small portion goes to that, and then the rest goes into your cash accumulation account. And these are the benefits to it. Tax-free, liquid, protected asset class, market protection. It avoids probate and estate tax. But it's insurance, so you got to qualify. And it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. We recommend at least having your investment in there for 10 to 15 years. Because at that 10-year mark is when you're really going to start seeing that aggressive growth. And I'll show you some examples. Okay. It was in Forbes magazine. If Forbes is talked about it, then you already know that it's pretty common knowledge. But a lot of this information isn't regularly shared. Okay. It's not regularly shared. So let's look at, this is a 25-year-old female. A lot of times when we go over like different examples, we use the men. So I figured I'd show my sister some love. Okay. So she is 25. By the end of the first year of the policy, she'll be 26. That's why it says 26. So you have the end of year, the year of the policy, the age of the individual, the annual premium outlay is how much money they're paying for that year, not a month, but a year. Okay, so $6,000 a year is $500 a month. Ignore the center column because this is going off of a lower percentage projection. The higher projection is over on the right-hand side and it's closer to the accurate numbers. The accumulated value is how much you have total in your account. The net surrender value is how much you have accessible to you to start making a withdrawal or a participation loan. And the net death benefit right here is when you pass away, how much money is going to your family. Okay. Now, earlier I said this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes about 10 to 15 years. And you're going to notice that there's what appears to be diminishing returns between your accumulated value and your net surrender value up until you get to the end of year 10. Because at year 11, these two numbers are equal. Well, a lot of people might say, well, if I'm putting $6,000 in this account, why do I only have access to, $4,900? I mean, why do I only have $4,900 accumulated and only have access to $2,100? Right? Well, one, like I said, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But also, the company is on the hook if anything happens to you in that first year, the first month even. As soon as that policy gets enforced, they got to pay this out. So it's a business. They have to get a return on their investment. So what's released to you is staggered until you hit the 10-year mark, to where you consider fully vested. Okay. The bold numbers here is the total amount that you've put in over the time period. Okay. But after that, you start to see accelerated growth. Okay. This person is 26. By the time that she is retirement age, 65, that's 892. And you see in year 66, there's no more contributions being paid. By the age of 66, she has about $950,000 with a $1.1 million death benefit. Okay, so when you're talking about that, at this point, she had only put $240,000 into the account. So, Brother Lucas, if I told you, if you give me $240,000, I'll give you $950,000 back, would you say that's a good deal?
That's a good deal. And when I get it back, I'm going to run through it.
Now, let me ask you, are you able to see this calculator on the screen?
Yes, sir, I am. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So let me show you a secret. You say you're going to run through the money, right?
Yeah, golf course, beach, and my Cybertruck immediately.
All right. Well, let me show you something. $950,000. So it's 950, 800 specifically. Okay. Now, like I was saying, at 13 to 17% right now, the different indexes that we're dealing with, you're talking about like a 17% return. So let's say 17% return on that money. So if you're just talking about living on the interest, which is what we recommend, obviously it's your money, you do with it what you want. But if you just live off the interest that accrues every year, you're going to have $161,636 salary, annual salary. You think you can hit the golf course and get a Cybertruck with that?
Boy, it's gonna be hard, but I'll keep up with the numbers. I'll try to make it work.
Right?
Yeah, that's great. That's really good, man.
Now you could take something out, right? No harm, no foul. However, if you just live off of the interest, you have a continuous stream of retirement income forever.
And that's going to be so critical. I mean, that's going to be critical for our generation because, bro, nobody's coming to save us. I mean, me and you, we're an island. I mean, this is it.
Yep, exactly. Now, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say you live to 90, 95, right? You multiply that by 30, 29. Over the lifetime of this account, you just pulling the interest, you'd have got $4.6 million. And that's not even including the death benefit. So over the life of the policy, you would have gotten $5.8 million after only investing $240,000.
Yep, that's
and everything that you just got is completely and 100% tax free, and it's a protected asset class.
Yep, that's awesome.
Now this is just a standard, where she's taking care of her bills. She's paying $500 a month and putting it into this account, right? Let's look at one where they are paying off their house. Because what we recommend is once you pay your house off, you just start putting whatever you was going to put in the mortgage and just start putting it into your own account anyway. So same person, same age. She's putting in $500 a month, so nothing changed here. But by the time she hits year 21, right? So she paid it into it for 20 years. But in year 21, her house is paid off. Right? Her house is paid off. So now she's able to put $2,000 in a month as opposed to $500 only. Now, at putting $2,000 a month in, starting at year 21 at age 46, by the time she retires, she's at $1.6 million. And again, that's not including, let's see, 1,606, 591, 17% return. Annually, she's looking at $273,120.47 as a annual retirement income. Mind you, these numbers that I'm talking about is based off of a government mandated cap at 6.17%. So these numbers that you're seeing is capped out at 6.17% when it's actually doing on average historically 17%. So technically, you can kind of, this 1.6 over here, you could probably 2.5 it. But just to be conservative, we just keep it at this. And this isn't including her salary from her employment. This is just including this one specific financial strategy. If she has any side hustles, if she has any other businesses that she started over the years, all of that money isn't even captured. This is just only this. And if we do the same thing, multiply by 29, over the life of the policy, she would have accumulated just in interest alone $7.9 million. And when she passes away, she's still going to leave a 1.19279 death benefit that leaves out to her family. So after only investing $600,000 in this strategy over the life of the policy, she almost hit $10 million. She was almost there. Dang, she ain't hit 10 million. That's so bad. I'm sorry. You see what I'm saying? But this type of information isn't out there.
Yep. And that's how there's conversations been going on a lot out there about people not utilizing life insurance, because people's like, when your loved one dies, they'll be on the thing asking for donations, and crowdfunding and all this stuff. And it's like, that shouldn't even be a conversation, because, life insurance, even if just people paid in on their life insurance, when they die, their next generation is strapped. I mean, they're ready to go. I mean, like, if I died today, like between my wife, the girls, and Jonathan, just one policy alone's $500,000. I mean, they ain't gonna owe nobody nothing and be to the positive hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, like, that's a comfort, and I just don't know why people do not think about that, because I mean, even in that situation, and that's a horrible scenario, but just looking at it, fresh off of Dad passing away, if I died this minute, there is no reason there shouldn't be any preps left that they shouldn't be able to ascertain immediately. Like they could get on the internet and buy everything they needed the following day and be on the doorstep before crap hit the fan. And I know that's not an ideal scenario, because I'm not existing in that scenario anymore. But I mean, like, people need to be mindful of that, so many people spend so much time prepping, but then they don't even ever take themselves out of the equation and ask themselves, okay, well, what does that scenario look like with me gone either,
Right. Exactly. A lot of people don't consider the after effects, right? Because the average cost, depending on where you live, the average cost of funeral services can range anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000. And so if you're not prepared and you're selling plates and doing car washes and hitting up the GoFundMe's and posting your cash app on social media, that's still a lot of money to try to cover.
Sure. Well, I mean, by the time that my dad passed away, like, the cost of funerals, what was initially that Mom and Dad had prepared for long ago, I mean, it's all pretty much practically almost doubled by the time that the insurance policy did pay.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, imagine how much it's going to continue to go up. I mean, just in the years ahead with inflation and everything.
Absolutely. They'll increase like the Walmart scenario. You know what I'm saying? I cringe to think of how much funeral services and burial services is going to cost in the next 25, 30 years.
Well, I know mine's going to cost. I told Abby and Jonathan, they better not be putting me 6 feet in the dirt. I said, I want my concrete sepulcher. It's going to say servant of the Most High Yah inscribed in the top. And it better have a Lexan coffin inside with a little access key, because I'm going to get up out of there and I'm going to walk out at the last trumpet. Oh, man.
Hey, I know that's right. They leave me be. They talk about you don't want to be cremated, it's cheaper. No, sir. I want to come in. I want to leave just like I came into the world, everything intact.
That's right. I want that door turned toward the east. I want to get up the minute that sky parts.
Facts. Now, some people they have a little extra, saved up, or maybe they inherited some money from, the grandparents or their parents, or maybe they have a little bit of money left over from a life insurance policy. Who knows? But I wanted to show what having a lump sum start could do, right? So this person had additional $50,000 to start it off, and then they're only paying $200 a month. That's where the $2,400 a month comes in. So that first year is $52,400, right? And you immediately have access to majority of that money because of how it works, right? Now, after that first year, you're now only paying the $200 a month, which is much less than the $500. Let's just say maybe their budget, maybe they don't have it like that, right? Maybe their budget is tighter, so they only put $200 a month. But even with that, by the time this person hits retirement age, you're still looking at $829,000.
Yes, sir.
Starting it off, supercharging it with $50K, but only putting $200 a month. A lot of us are paying more than $200 a month for light bill, car notes. Some of us are spending more than $200 a month on fast food. But to know,
did you see that memo? Did you see that memo somebody dropped for you, brother?
No, I didn't see it.
In the comments, that was actually a good point on what you were saying there a minute ago. We were talking about the cost of stuff right there.
No, we just spent $15K. That one.
Yeah, they said that, you know, people should pay installments on funerals right now. That way it's locked in. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that can be locked in, guys, really should be done right now, because the way things are going to continue to adjust, it's going to get savage.
Yeah. I have clients that have plots already completely paid off and purchased. They're just waiting. They're just waiting because they know that the cost is going up. And I do apologize because when I share my screen, I'm not able to see the live comments. So I'll be kind of breezing through and addressing some people's questions as well here shortly. But like, as you guys can see, you know, if you're that young lady and you're trying to get some land, or maybe you already have land, you're just trying to build and cultivate it. Now you have an ability to be able to fund whatever you need during that time period, tax-free, right? And still be able to do whatever you need to do. And it's not taken away from, you know, your job, right? Brother Lucas said, "Yeah, I'm still gonna work two jobs and make sure ain't no easy button to be pressed," right? So,
right.
You know, and then I always think like from a group perspective, right? So if everybody comes together and unifies, and we're tapping into these types of financial strategies, imagine the amount of good we could do. How many homes we could build? How many homeless people and poor people we could assist? Right? It's not just always about us too, as well. Like, we have to take care of our fellow man. And so, thinking about the average cost of homes, the average cost of land per acre, I briefly looked into that. You know, you're looking at $420,000 if you're buying a home, $329,000 if you're building a home, but that's not including land. And land is averaging between $12,000 and $16,000 per acre, depending on where you are. So that's not including, you know, tractors and other farm equipment, building materials for additional infrastructure like sheds and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that we want to do, but those things cost money. Those things are expensive. If we want to fund our exodus, right, we read in the scriptures of all of the things that is going to come to pass, because that's why the Most High put it on my heart to create the organization, the coalition, the Unity and Survival Coalition. Originally, it was like, if things go bad tomorrow, what would I be able to do? Now, me personally, I know how to shoot, right? I know how to shoot. So if somebody came as a trespasser, they try to break in and steal our food and our goods, whatever we have, they're going to have a rough time. But here's the problem that people don't really consider. And a lot of these movies have painted a really good picture and explained this really well, like Walking Dead and, you know, other shows like that. But in times of calamity, there's utter chaos. There's people who are wicked. They will band together. You're talking 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 people. And they band together. They create a what's it called? Like a loose alliance. And they go throughout the different areas, overpowering everybody they run into. So yeah, I can shoot. My wife can shoot. My kids can shoot. Well, we're only a 5-person household. How long can we fend off 30 people trying to get to break in? 50 people trying to break in. So we have to come together, utilize our resources, utilize, you know, the information that we have, so that way we're not on our own, right? So when they come in numbers, we have numbers as well. And if we unify, we are stronger, right? I say all the time in the coalition, a slap can sting, but if you unify all 5 of them fingers into a fist, you can deal a mighty blow. You can knock somebody clean out. And that's what ultimately what it was, right? We share information, we share resources. You know, if one person is good at growing crops, another person is good at, you know, healing wounds in the medical field, and another person is good at building, we all share into that. And we teach each other. So that way the entire community unifies, goes up together, and we are all ready to go. But it's going to take resources and money to do those things. So
now the info where that you guys can reach out to Brother Akeen is in the bottom of the video description, guys, and he can help you on a ton of this stuff as far as planning those things out and stuff like that. Because I mean, when the crap hits the fan, I mean, I can tell you this from working for FEMA in the past. I mean, like that government certificate sealed is on the thing right there on the wall from working for FEMA. And I'm telling you, from seeing it in the field, that whenever a crisis happens, the first day or two ain't really the big thing. It's day 3 forward where things get crazy. And then if you have like a catastrophic meltdown, a power grid, the next pandemic, financial collapse, you watch things like these play out and you give it 30 days, the people that's going to suffer the most immediately are the elderly, the sick, and the children. Now, after that, then the herd's going to be really thin. You're going to see the population drop fast in that first 30 days. And then what you're going to be left with is people that made the right conscientious decision to prepare. And they may be people of faith. They may be wicked people, but nevertheless, they put the safe room in, the bunker, the food stores, the root cellar. They did the work. And then the rest of them that stuck around after them 30 days are the bad of the bad. They are the Negans of the Walking Dead. Like Brother King just said, they are people that embody the spirit of Satan's kingdom. They're going to be the government and the outliers and the crazies, and it's going to be quite a show to see, folks. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a cowardly man. I don't want to deal with this all on my own. I mean, networking, having people around you. Most of my neighbors are really good people. I mean, I do whatever I can to help them, but I mean, like, this thing is huge. And like tomorrow we're doing a live stream. And one of the points that we're talking about in this great controversy is this thing's so much bigger than us. And it's at the point where, me and Abby was just talking about this today earlier, brother. It's just how bad, like we want a fellowship of believers together again to worship with each Sabbath, or at least once a month. Like I was talking about getting in a car, just drive down to Brother Matthew's place once a month just to be in the spirit of the body of believers, because it's just so critical, especially for the girls. And it's getting wild out here. And guys, we've got so much that we're having to deal with that I'm talking to people now that are 88 years old. I was talking to some elders the other day, and I'm trying to find mental health clarity, because I'm like, we're dealing with the reason our generation and especially young people are having such mental health meltdowns is because we're dealing with stuff that's coming up on this earth that has never been nor never will be again. And like AI and robots and the twisting of DNA, like we ain't seen that since the days of Noah. And as scripture says, as of the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So we are at the threshold. And so I know everybody's feeling this immense intensity. Like from 2009, I've poured dollar bill after dollar bill into preparedness and getting off grid, and strove at it for years. And it takes a lot out of you. Yeah. But the financial part does not go away. There is not going to be a miracle check in the box tomorrow. And if there is, y'all get a prayer in for me, because I need that miracle check. All right, y'all put me on the prayer roster. Put Brother Akeen on there too. Now, don't be greedy. We all need it. But it ain't coming, guys. And I'm sorry. That's just the facts. But I'll tell you what is, that the Most High gave you health and sound reason and logic and the ability to go forth and earn a wage and provide for yourself and your family. So now is the hour for us to be doing something. And you know what? You may work your hind end off. And when this all hits the fan, you may die. You may be put in jail for standing up for what you believe. I mean, who knows what the future holds? But I can't sit here idly and just be like, well, you know what? I'm going to put my head in the sand and forget about it. That is not the solution. So that's my 2 cents on the tail end of this.
No, you hit it right on the head, man. You hit it right on the head. And to quickly, talk about those people who, and it sounds a little damning, but if you are one of the people who are, putting in the money, you're making the investments into the storage and guns and ammunition and food, right? But if you're still by yourself, you can still be overrun. All you've been doing the last 10 years is literally setting up the Negans that's going to come. They just got all the guns, ammunition, water, food, whatever, in one place because you've been stockpiling, because you've been prepping, but you tried to do it only on your own. You're not with another group, right? Seek like-minded believers. Seek those people who are going to work together, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a group. I'm not saying you got to try to come and join our coalition, right? But I'm just saying, like, you don't want to be isolated when shit hits the fan. Essentially, you don't want that to be you. And then I've had conversation after conversation when I first started to try to put this thing together, and I was trying to get the word out, and I would hear people say, well, I have faith that the Most High will deliver me, and then they say they quote various scriptures in the Old Testament and various battles of deliverance. But I asked them this question. I said, in every single instance, every single one, not missing one, every single one where the Most High delivered Israel or somebody individually, they had to do something. There was some type of action that needed to take place in order for that deliverance to occur. Sometimes it was, you had to go over to this place, or sometimes it was you have to do this thing or that thing, but it always required something. So if you think that somebody's coming to save you and the people that's kicking down your door is going to kill you and take all of your stuff, that's not coming. Now, I'm not saying faith isn't a powerful thing and that things can't happen, but faith without works is dead. James 2, verses 14 through 26. Okay. But I'll quickly just kind of skim through here and address some comments. And in the meantime, brother, if you got any questions or anything you want to ask, you can definitely shoot them my way.
Well, I just one last thought I had was that, I've been reading in the book of Daniel. I spend my reading this month that I've been going through, just going back over prophecy and just scraping for any last little bits of gold nuggets I can find that I've, anything that can be helpful in the hour that we're in. And I was thinking about, when the princes conspired against Daniel, he knew what was coming, and he went ahead and opened them doors of his window and prayed anyway. And then he got put in the lion's den, and then the angel was sent then and there in that hour and delivered him out. But all the way up to that, he was on his own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I know the Most High was for him, but he literally walked it out. And it's just like, I keep thinking about that. I'm like, there's days that I feel like that the Most High may not hear me. And I always say to myself that, if I don't get prayers answered on certain things, it's because I've sinned and I was unworthy. Because Israel multiple times prayed for things or got in situations and didn't get delivered because, they were in sin. And so I'm like, I look at that sometimes. I'm like, either that prayer wasn't answered for the protection or it's because I sinned. But I think about Daniel's situation and I'm like, there may come a day where that we're doing all that we possibly can, physically, spiritually, financially, to prepare for what is coming. And we're going to have to take an L potentially. But I really believe in that hour, that's when I cry out to the Most High. I am expecting deliverance because it has went past my physical capability at that point. But just like on this finance talk tonight, like, it is the ball is in our court right now. Like, if tomorrow somebody cyber attacks my bank account and wipes me out, I'm going to need that deliverance from the Most High that next day. But I don't need that today. I will find, he's gave me these to go get the job done. But like, there is, there's this balance point that I think people really, really need to figure out, man, that like faith and works, it's a symbiotic circle. And I don't know what it's going to take to wake people up with that, but that is seriously something people need to come to grips with in this hour that we're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Shabbat Shalom to everybody, first and foremost. And definitely a shout out to all of my coalition members that's in the chat. I appreciate y'all coming through here. showing your brother some love and some support. Marquita said, but if you pull out 17% or the interest, then that decreases the amount reinvested each subsequent year. So the general goal is to work until you hit retirement, and then you live off your retirement. So you can continue to fund it to whatever year you want to. But once you hit that retirement age, instead of taking all of your money out at one time and blowing it on whatever you want to blow it on, living off of that interest. So you're essentially skimming off the top, whatever the interest accrued, and the rest of the money is remaining there. So it's not going anywhere. And then the next year it earns that interest back again, and you're just literally living off of the top. That ensures that you never run out of money. You never run out of retirement. You're always able to do whatever you want. Now you can take more than that, but the more anything over that 17% threshold, if 17% is what you're being credited each year, anything over that 17% threshold is now going to decrease the amount that you have accumulated, and then thus decreasing the amount that you're going to receive in interest. Because if you're getting 17% interest on $1 million, and you go and instead of taking out the 17%, whatever that amount is, and then you go the next year, so let's just say you take out, let's just say 17% was 170,000. But instead of the 170,000, you took out 400,000. Now that million is going to drop, and then when the interest gets credited the next year, you're going to have less interest credited, and so over time you're going to lose more and more and more until it runs out if you continue that path. So this strategy is just taking the interest, living off of the interest, and then leaving the rest in there to continue working for you. So you're making money while you sleep. So for that one, I'm going to see you. Not seeing many questions, so hopefully I explained a lot of the things pretty clearly, and there's no questions. But I did leave my Calendly link if you want to reach out to me. If you have questions, concerns, or you got some edifying information and you want to take advantage of it, you can definitely book a meeting with me. Calendly link /Jamal A. Johnson 144, and that'll take you to the page where you can book. Don't have to worry about it. All of the Sabbaths are already grayed out. You won't even be able to book it on Sabbath. So they got to worry about that. I already got my calendars squared away.
Man, can you help me do that for my off-grid contracting?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Bro, I will pay you for your time. Let me tell you, that is epic, because you know how I know when it's Sabbath? That's the one day a week that I get all the business calls, all the tech support, and everybody want to drop off their wallet for off-grid except for Torah keepers. They all know not to be doing that. But that's so funny, man, because that happens all the time. That's the one day a week I can cash in all the checks I want.
Yep, absolutely. And then like I'll have like a 2 or 3 day period where I don't have any clients. I'm not sitting down running any meetings, right? And then soon as Sabbath hit, my phone is ringing. I'm getting text messages. Hey, brother, let's meet. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to wait until tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, I swear that is just so true, because everybody I talk to, look at there. Somebody just said it. Facts, Lucas. I got so many emergency calls today. Guys, listen. Anybody that keeps the Father's lunisolar scriptural Sabbath, I know people will be like, how do you know it's true? I'll tell you how I know it's true. When I went to SUN Day Church, my life was a breeze, baby.
Yep.
I mean, a breeze. I could have been like a world-class easygoing pagan. Life was just a breeze. I went to SDA Church. It was a little bit of a change up, but let me tell you, the minute the gear got swapped in the transmission to keeping the Father's calendar, bro, like my world melts down like 24 hours before the Sabbath comes. There'll be a crisis. The dishwasher today started flooding the night before, like last night going into Sabbath, it flooded. Somehow the gasket got moved on the bottom of the door. So I walked in there at like 1 a.m. to a flood last night at the baby making machine sets above the dishwasher. Complete flood. So I'm telling y'all, you can't make this stuff up. That is how you know that the Sabbath is true, because it never fails. And it'll always be coming up on Sabbath, and somebody will ask me, they'll be like, man, can you do this for me? Like, I'll gladly pay you extra, or blah, 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 blah. And it's always this temptation. always happens on the Sabbath.
Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you,
Somebody
man.
said, same here. I get the most leads of business increase on Shabbat.
Facts.
And y'all killing me in these comments.
Facts.
Oh, we all ain't lying. Okay. Like you can, okay, let's just go ahead and scratch this up and say Luke's just lied. All right. Well, Brother Akeen ain't lying. And the rest of these people in the comments ain't lying. Like what is it? The statistical probability that all these people are lying is, it ain't possible. Oh, man.
Not possible at all.
Oh, that's great.
But I'll drop the link again in there.
Yeah, and somebody asked too, said, so when contributions stop, the value or payout continues to increase. Did you get that person?
Yeah, I was gonna answer that one. So yeah, even when you stop making contributions to it, you're still gonna be earning interest on the accumulated amount. So you're still gonna be earning interest and making money, even though you're not paying any more into it. So in the one example, it was like you put $600,000 in over the life of the policy, but you've gotten back, close to 10 million, because even though when you stop making payments, that interest is still accruing each year. And then, the smart way is to just take that interest that's accruing, and that's what you live off of. And you leave the remaining amount in there to earn interest for the next year.
Nice.
Because it's telling me this comment has failed to post to Seven Trumpets Prepper. Could you post the Calendly link?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it, because when I click it, it tries to just throw it to the screen on mine. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna type it in. Give me just a second, brother.
I'm putting it in the private chat. You can copy it and paste it.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, and while you're doing that, just a heads up to everybody, we'll be back in the building tomorrow night at 8. It'll be me, Brother Akeen, Brother Joel. We're going to be talking about the great controversy, that's been going on for so many millennia, and it's being wrapped up. And we all get caught up in the cares of the world and all the struggle and strife and drama that we're going through every day. And I just feel this is going to be a massive help to reset and bring everybody back to center on foundation, because we actually are all caught up in this situation. Like, we didn't ask to be put in this situation, but we're innocent. Or we're not completely innocent, but we're bystanders in a much bigger, theater of warfare that's going on right now. And so that'll be going on tomorrow night. Okay, let me see, brother. I think I can post that now.
And the far right column was the death benefit that still pays out when you pass away. So whatever you have in your accumulated amount, it's that and the death benefit.
You see it now in the comments?
Yep, okay. I can see it. I can see it in my name. So that link is down there, everybody, for anybody who needs, who has questions or would like to sit down and have a meeting, get some more information. Definitely hit that up, book a meeting with me, and we'll definitely help you get you wherever you want to go. Everybody's situation is different. Some people want to prep. Some people want to buy a house. Some people want to buy land. Some people just want to increase their finances. Some people want to get out of debt, right? Whatever it is, I got you covered.
Yeah, well, brother, when you get a night coming up, maybe next month when I'm out of the field, because I've got to go do an off-grid community install for some Hebrew brothers down in Georgia that's putting a community together.
Yeah.
And then I got to go look at another thing, and then I got to work a tiny house land 3 days, 14 hours back to back. So I know next month's a little crazy, but toward the end of it, I definitely want to get with you about the insurance, because maybe if I can do a life insurance thing that's just with that directly with you for this intent purpose of finances. I want to do that because, the others just leave for whatever purpose, for death benefit to everybody. But I would like to have something that's tangible to workable for right now. That would be great. And I definitely pencil in the time to do that with you.
Absolutely, brother. Just let me know. Sit down and go over your options and get you squared away.
All right, guys, I'm going to put the info up one more time before we wrap up here. All the reach out to you touched on the coalition, but do you want to just give everybody a real quick shout out about that so they can?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be talking more about the coalition tomorrow. So if you guys want to tune in to the New Moon show tomorrow, right? We'll definitely be touching on that as well. But like I said, Unity and Survival Coalition, we are a group of like-minded believers, right? So we all serve the Most High, Torah observant, keeping the Shabbat, but we are gonna come together, right, as a completely off-grid and self-sustaining community to prepare for what's coming. So when those Negans come around, it ain't gonna just be, all 30 Negans on one. They gonna go 30 Negans against the same amount, or if not more, right? So we're gonna come together, we're gonna unify, we're gonna strengthen each other, we're gonna edify each other, encourage each other, build each other up, and everything from, crops, livestock, ammunition, weapons, firearm training, military strategy, all of that, everything, combat, everything, healthcare, all of it. The best way I can explain it is you watch The Walking Dead and you see how they establish communities. That's the best way I can explain. Everybody working together with one common goal in mind, understanding that no one person is more important than a group, right? And so, with that being said, you can chat with any of our members in the chat. They've been going crazy this entire time. If you got any specific questions, you can reach us at Unity and Survival Coalition at gmail.com, or you can hit the link. Contact me via phone, shoot me a text, give me a call, 773 area code 443-2125. Give me a call. I'm reachable. I'm not one of those individuals that's untouchable. You can reach out to me anytime. So, with that being said, if anybody's interested in learning more information about the coalition, maybe it's something that interests you, or maybe you just you like, let's go. I'm ready. Sign me up. Hit us up.
Right on, brother. Well, I'll see you and Brother Joel in the house. I guess we can jump in the studio about 10 minutes till 8 tomorrow night. I'll meet up with you, but I'm looking forward to it. And
excited.
I'm on, guys. Before we jump off here, as always, I hope the Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make His face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. In Yahushua name. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love you, brother. See you tomorrow night.
Love you too, brother. Peace.